Okay, thanks for the amazing thing. I hope I can live up to the expectations. Well, my name is Alonso Mujica, and it doesn't matter how many times you can do a presentation in your life. It's still like every time you do it, it's like the first time. I'm going to talk to you about some problems, of course, because we like to see problems. It's like the national sport in Peru, right? But also, I'm going to talk about some solutions, and I have like 3 call to actions for all of you. But thanks very much to the TECHSUYO organization for giving me the opportunity to present what I'm doing and the work that my team is doing in Peru and Chile. So first of all, how do you, okay. So this is something that everybody knows, right? But I'm going to start with a question. Did you know, or do you know, what is the percentage of people in Peru that goes to college or university or an institute after leaving high school? I'm gonna answer that question next, but getting back to this, there's 1.5 million vacant technology jobs in America, right? There's a big gap, right? There's a big gap of getting talented people in technology. And 65% of the Peruvian workforce only finish high school. So it means that after high school, you're never going to attend like a formal education space again. And this is more than half of the Peruvian workforce we have. But on the other hand, we have a massive growing, exponentially growing segment that is technology, that is STEM, needing a lot of people capable. So there's something that we're probably not doing that well in education in Peru, right? So this is the problem. The main problem is that, for example, in Latin America, only 1% of the schools are teaching computer science, but for example, in countries like North America or the United States, more than 40% of the schools are teaching computer science. And this is a very key influential information because this impacts in the amount of people that are actually going to attend or pursue a computer science or a STEM-related career after finishing high school. So this is me. You're seeing me right now, right? So you can tócame que soy realidad, right? I'm an entrepreneur, I'm an engineer, but the thing is that I love computers. I always say that my dad, mi papá, ruined my life when I was 2 years old because he had a computer reseller company and he gave me my first computer when I was 2 years old. And that opened a very big shot of opportunities for me in my life. And that basically changed the way I see things. Because I had the internet before it was cool. And I always used technology in my home to get to know more information, to get to know like Encarta. Do you remember Encarta? It was kind of like Google before Google, but offline, very boring. And I had a lot of stuff, devices in my computer that allowed me to like study, to learn, to play, and to see the world with different eyes. But imagine in the 8 million people that are students today in Peru, how many people today, 2019, have that opportunity of having a computer at home or a computer connected to the internet at home? So this is very problematic. And when I was like 3 years ago working in a company, I was thinking like, how can I deal with this problem? So the solution that I came with is what I'm doing today, the work that we've been doing for 3 years, is that in syllabus, we want to train the next generation of creators. How? We're teaching them computer science and coding. And we're targeting this to teenagers from 12 to 17 years old. Why teenagers and why not little kids? Because there's a lot of STEM programs for kids. Because in Peru, if we don't teach something useful to teenagers while they're still in high school, they're probably never going to pursue anything more, not because they don't want to, but because they don't have access. And access is a key word here. So what are we doing right now is that we are doing face-to-face workshops and online classes with a blended solution. But this is not possible to actually attend all the Peruvian landscape because we have a very complicated landscape. So our vision is that, for example, today we're doing 80% of the courses offline and 20% of the content online. But we see that in the next 2 years, we have to flip radically this equation. So the question that we are asking with our team is that how do we do an excellent education process that works both online and offline? And how can we scale this to actually get to 1 million students? So for us, and it's something that you're going to see in the next talks as well and during the whole 2 days of this agenda, is that problem solving like that is something that is very important, and it's like it has to be across all the curriculum. So we're teaching coding, yes. We're teaching computer science, yes. But we're teaching like cross skills, like problem solving, project development, teamwork, entrepreneurship, innovation, citizenship, values. The thing is that coding, and Mr. Dan Garcia mentioned it during the morning, coding is not just coding codes in a computer. Coding is about seeing the world in a different way. It's how can I create something that can bring value, that can solve a relevant problem for my country, for my society. And around that vision, we have built a curriculum of 1 year that the kids need to study in order to build their first website with us. But why do we want to be so special? It's because we want to use technology, and our main challenge is using technology to connect the mentors, the teachers, to the students. And this has to be with a vision that does not depend only in a face-to-face workshop, but we think that we can get there with technology, and we're using technology wisely to actually enable a good and strong education process. Our business model is we're selling to schools, we're selling to enterprise for social responsibility programs, and we are also have recently opened a business model where we sell to the parents as well. And we believe there's a strong potential here, because if you're a parent and you have a kid right now, wouldn't you want your kid to be actually able to connect with the market that is growing so fast and the hottest segment in technology? I think that you want the best for your kids, right? So that is a big opportunity for parents out there in Latin America as well. Also, we are not only doing courses, because doing courses is not engaging just if we have a traditional education model. So we built this school technology projects called Hack Escolar. And what does Hack Escolar is our programming contest only for students of high school. They have to build a project that solves a social problem, like cyberbullying, like career orientation, like insecurity, like gender gap. And we have done this for 2 years, 5 editions, and more than 500 students have applied to this in 4 cities in 2 different countries, in Peru and Chile. For example, this year we have had Arequipa, that is a big technology hub. We have had Lima and Santiago de Chile as well. And this is the kind of problems that we're making our 12 or 15 or 16-year-old students work around, like things about cyberbullying, city security, career orientation, also gender gap, gender violence as well. Syllabus, since we have working, like in August 2016, we began the company, has worked with 3,000 students from 9 different cities. And we began in 2016 with 25 students in my school, Comimis. And last year, we opened the Chile office, and we reached up to more than 2,000 students in the whole year. And we have set up a very, very strong and very skillful team that is very passionate about technology. We also have 2 former ministers in our board, one ridiculously talented and amazing software engineer here. And we also have a very strong, passionate, skillful team that loves education and wants to change a lot of lives. So we have some challenges and some call to actions for the audience as well. The thing is that how do we reach 1 million students? And there's one fact of information that is interesting as well, because we have been talking about computer science, but we have not talked about smartphones. But did you know that 98% of Peruvians between 18 and 24 years old, for example, in urban areas are connected to a smartphone? Do you know what's the gap of teenagers connected to a smartphone right now in Peru? There's a lot of young people using smartphones not only for fun, but for educational purposes as well. So we think that there's a challenge there that we could reach, and we could reduce the gap if we can go to an online, mobile first, or a web platform as well, but with a lot of user-friendliness in a mobile phone. Because there's a lot of people connected to a smartphone. So our challenge is, how do we reach these people? How do we reach these students with a low-cost, very scalable solution? The next challenge for you is like, how can you be part of the process? How can you be a mentor to these students? Because mentoring is a very important part of developing a career, of developing your passion, and also of guidance while you're taking very important decisions about your company, about your career, about your future. I've had amazing, tremendous mentors. Some of them are here today, and some of them have advised me on taking the most strong and most difficult decisions of my career and of my company as well. And mentoring is a process that does not have to begin when you finish school, or does not have to begin after the MBA. Mentoring is a thing that, remember your best school teacher? Imagine if you could still talk to that guy after leaving school. I studied engineering because one of my best math teachers advised me that I was very good at engineering. I'm actually doing engineering math business as well, but I'm not the traditional thing that you see as an engineer in Peru. But you can be mentors. You can also be part of this process, and you can also enlighten, you can also like lead and guide the path of a very brilliant future engineer in Puno, in Ancash, in Huaraz, in the Peruvian highlands, or maybe in the jungle as well. There's a lot of talent in our country. The thing is that we have to bring access to them, and we have to discover them and enable them and guide them through the process. And we have also, there's the need that we can also develop a very strong solution, a very low-cost solution, so that we can actually reach them with friendly content and with a friendly platform, very, very easy to use. And last but not least, let's bring the best students to TECHSUYO 2020. Imagine, for example, today, the UCAL team is going to present, and the UCAL team of Resi is going to present. Imagine having like 15 or 16-year-old kids that have already developed their first web platform, their first mobile app in the school, presenting to you today what their vision is and what they're doing. These are the guys that are going to build the future of our country and of the continent as well. So why couldn't we give them a shot to actually be part of this, since they are still in school? Imagine this, but with some of them being actually high school students. Wouldn't you have loved to be part of this when you were in school, and to discover your passions when you were 14 and not wait till you're 21 or 22? So, wrapping it up, this is some of the photos of the things that we're doing. For example, this is one picture in Santiago de Chile, this is one picture in Arequipa, this is one picture in Viña del Mar, this is in Barranco, and most of our workshops are beginning at Saturday mornings at 9 a.m. So we're getting 15 or 16-year-old people, kids, students, teenagers, not to go to maybe a kino or a juerga on Friday night and actually get up at Saturday morning to study computer science and study coding and actually get to know other kids that love this as well. So I think that we're probably doing something right with this, but we need help, we need more mentors, and we need the creativity and the network and the community work of the Peru SB and the TECHSUYO community to actually get to 1 million students and to actually get to the impact that we're going to get for more engineers, more Peruvian engineers, men and women, actually changing the technology gap in the world. So I invite you to help us train the future generation of creators together. Thanks very much.